This episode is sponsored by the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. July's featured entertainment includes Mammoth WVH on the 19th and Danae Hayes on the 20th. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Also enjoy complimentary beverages when playing with your Penn Play card. Visit the Penn Play Center to sign up. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Haley Bennett produces and stars in the new biopic Widow Clicquot, which opens nationwide tomorrow. She called in to discuss Clicquot's female entrepreneurial spirit and the uphill battle to get it made, as well as her reaction to on-screen brother J.D. Vance in Hillbilly Elegy becoming the Republican vice presidential nominee. Hey, Haley Bennett. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in Washington, D.C.
You sound so excited, and I just landed after a long haul flight, and I'm very tired. But I will try to get to your level.
You're promoting the heck out of this new movie, so you're probably exhausted. But I have coffee going.
You just had coffee?
We'll try to calibrate it here. But yeah, we're talking because your new movie, Widow Clicquot, it premiered at Toronto, last summer. Long journey to finally get here to this release, but it's finally opening nationwide in movie theaters this Friday, July 19th. So I guess we should start with, remind everyone who was Widow Clicquot.
Widow Clicquot is known as the Grand Dame of Champagne. She is the woman behind the iconic yellow label of the champagne that is a household name, but not many people know that Veuve means widow.
Absolutely. And I guess her birth it's Barbe Nicole Clicquot in Champagne, France, of course. And
Barbe Nicole Ponsardin Clicquot. Yeah.
That's the full name.
It's a very long name.
And just to remind everyone the sort of time frame, she was born in 1776. Oh, actually, she was born a year after the American Revolutionary War and died a year after the American Civil War. So there's sort of it's during Napoleon and all this stuff, everybody. Well,
absolutely. Yes.
I know that you produce and star in this thing, so let's take those one at a time. So first, as the producer, put on the producing hat. When you're developing this project and first get the script, etc., what drew you to it? Is it the fact that this strong character, one of the first female entrepreneurs? You want to tell that story? You got the whole outsmarting Napoleon, who forbid women to even own companies. The innovations like riddling, where they turn the bottles upside down to prevent the sediments from settling. Like all these aspects.
Champagne. Yes. I mean, so we gave bringing the Widow Clicquot story to light a very mighty effort. It was not easy. We made the film independently. There were so many forces against us, just like the Widow Clicquot herself, which may be why her story has been bottled for so long. So it makes the film, we had to adapt. I started with a script that was incredibly ambitious, and we just really wanted to boil it down to its essence. We had to become inventive. We made the production smaller. It was scrappy. And we just had to embrace some of the challenges that go along with making a film right now. And especially a historical period drama starring a woman, all set on location in France, made independently. There were a lot of budget constraints, and it shifted our perspective a lot, and it really focused us. And I'm so proud of this gift of a story that we got to bring to the screen after 240 years. The Widow Clicquot is finally being recognized with a character in flesh and blood, like so many men in history with great achievements, just like hers. So in some ways, it feels like we've liberated her from the bottle.
Right, the cork is off of the story,
and now really everyone... It's a small miracle to me that we could make the film at all. It was such a bumpy road getting it made. I think Christina spent, I think Christina had the rights. Christina Lurie, my partner, my producing partner in this, I think she had the rights for 8 years before we even, intersected and decided to create this story together.
Yeah, you mentioned Christina Weiss-Lurie, your co-producer. I believe at one point maybe still is part owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, right? and the screenwriter Aaron Dignam was, I think, even a former tennis player at Wimbledon in the 70s. So that's some funny backstory. But you also have your other co-producer, Joe Wright, obviously director of Pride and Prejudice and Atonement and Darkest Hour, all those greats. Yeah.
So this was mine and Joe's third film that we developed together. We made Swallow together. We produced Swallow, which is a film that I did about 5 years ago now. And that was my first film that I produced. And then we made Cyrano, and Joe directed that one. And that came out during COVID. And the National, actually, we have the National that did the music for Cyrano, and then Bryce Desner, who's also a member of one of the band members of the National, but also has his own career in composing films. He's done Inarritu. He's done a few of Inarritu's films, starting with Revenant, and he did the score for Widow Could Kill. So we teamed up with him again, and the score is so beautiful. The film is so atmospheric, and it really draws you in with the kind of the musical tones, and it has a very tactile feel to it, and it's really enhanced by Bryce's score, I think.
I believe Joe Wright trained, in a way, his AD, his assistant director, Thomas Snapper, worked on a lot of those films with him, and now he's getting to direct here. I mean, he had done Jawbone, etc. But yeah, talk about Thomas deciding how to tell this story with sort of the structural jumps, between past and present, because you're seeing the husband alive and then there's a widow sort of interchangeably. So why do you think that's sort of an effective way to go at it?
I would say working with Thomas was very fortunate. He has a shorthand with Joe as producer. Joe wasn't on set with us. Joe was making M. Son of Mussolini in Italy, which is premiering at Venice Film Festival this year. I'm very excited about that. But working with Thomas, it's just like he's so friendly. He's so he really embraced this woman's story. He kind of jumped on fairly late in production, and we were so lucky to have a man with such a sensitive kind of point of view of this story. I love talking to him about it. I could talk to him for hours about Widow Could Kill, and just working with him on set, it was just such a privilege, such a joy to get to work with a friend, to collaborate with friends. I really like that. I love just mucking in and making films independently with friends. One of my favorite ways to work.
Yeah.
And Widow Could Kill achieved so much, it probably would have made a fantastic miniseries. I think people crave these stories, and the film is every bit of female empowerment as it is about creativity and ingenuity and resiliency, all the things that I adore about Widow Could Kill. And we carry this light in us to change things, and Barb did just that. She had a unique talent and vision that was incredibly rare, and her innovations have stood the test of time.
Absolutely.
For anyone, regardless of gender, but especially female, we do have to lay down our lives and be brave to do anything worthwhile. And that was a story that really resonated with me as an actor, as a producer.
Yeah, we've gone really in depth, and thank you so much on the sort of the Herculean effort to bring it to the screen, and all, with your co-producers and the writer and director and yourself. But how about as far as like as an actress? Now, once you're there, the funding's together and you're on set. Why was it such a fun role to inhabit with not only the grief, but it's like it's almost like grief versus romance back and forth, because you fall in love with the wine distributor, but you have to legally be a widow to keep the company. It's like all this cool push and pull there. But why was it so fun of a role to actually play?
I mean, the film has a lot. The film has, we really wanted to balance the practical elements of viticulture, but also bring forward a story about soulful fulfillment and making and nurturing and growing and transformation. And that is what creativity is for me. And it's a process in which I find meaning, and a process which I find great joy and happiness, and something that we're all entitled to. I would say that my approach developing the character, I mean, there was so much to work with. The book, Tilar Mazzio's book, was our source material, so I would continuously go back to that. And there is such an incredible kind of journey and arc with the character, from, this young, shy, timid girl who kind of matures into this empowered creative force. It was such a rich experience to explore on screen.
Absolutely.
And then you add in the grief and the loss and all, and her kind of overcoming that through her art. I guess I compare her winemaking to art, which is what it is. It's kind of about the discovery of an artist.
Oh, absolutely. It is an art form, and putting the movie together is an art form. And sort of like they say, hopefully we'll be remembered for something 100 years from now. There's a line like that. And, and you did that for her while putting down art yourself that hopefully will be remembered in 100 years. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'll never look, now that you've done a movie about winemaking, I'll never look at that corkscrew Emily Blunt and Girl on the Train the same again. That was foreshadowing to this movie.
Yay! It makes me so proud. Thank you very much.
Before we run, final seconds, you've done so many, in terms of your filmography, you've done so many great roles: Equalizer and Magnificent Seven with Denzel. We mentioned Emily Blunt and The Girl on the Train, Daniel Deadweiler and Till. You've worked with so many great ones. But I do have to add, the big news now is Hillbilly Elegy, Ron Howard, right? Based on the book by J.D. Vance. Well, you played his sister on screen, and he wrote the book, obviously. But you literally, like last night, he accepted a Republican presidential nomination. I won't make you comment on his actual politics, because we're here talking the movie. But just the idea, you, Glenn Close, Amy Adams, you could have never predicted that the main character of this movie you're doing would go on to that. You know what I mean? That's like Paula Hawkins being the nominee after Girl on the Train. Like, that's unheard of. But yeah, I want to open the floor to you. Just what's your reaction to this whole thing this week? It's
been wild. I've received a lot of calls from family and friends, and it's a wild revelation. Wild revelation, yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Hey, Widow Clicquot, now in movie theaters nationwide tomorrow. Haley Bennett, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.